I will do 2 at once right now.
She did 20. Okay.
I can do 2 at once. Also, I've done it.
Okay,
Don't test me.
No, do it right now.
No.
All right, let's podcast.
Every time I go on
first.
the podcast, it's a fucking test at the start.
Well, no one can see that.
I know. That's what remember Kenny?
I know. Kenny wants to challenge Andy Andrus to the Iron Man thing, just so he gets his name mentioned again on the podcast. Whatever that fucking thing is. I bet Andy will probably beat me. I've already forgotten.
Is that how Kenny talks? I get taken up 3 octaves, and Kenny gets fucking charged.
It's
The Iron
It's
Throne.
It's a generic impression. Brian Hennigan is back from the Burning Man.
Burning Man.
We have the journalist here for I don't know how. What's that? Yeah, he's falling down.
He's realized there's no story.
Journalist from the Guardian. That's
He
here for the
realizes
weekend.
he's been sold a pig in a poke.
Yeah, it's a crazy weekend. Andy Andrus and Christine Levine, as well as Damian Figler and another comic, are coming to crash the compound any second. So we have like 15 fucking podcasts we have to do in a weekend, or so it seems. So we're good. Yeah, now that Brian's here, we can follow up on your Burning Man adventure. Mr. Smith goes to Burning Man.
I had a very exciting one day because I had my immigration interview at 7:30 in the morning, and then I drove straight up to Burning Man.
That was, a lot of people got back to us on Twitter about your, after we went through the dumb test you had to take. Are
Yeah.
you smarter than a 5th grade citizen or whatever we called it?
Yeah, and so once that started, it's amazing how the whole process was immediately really serious. Like, so like I'm with my lawyer and we walk into the room and then the woman just immediately just turns around and just goes, "Okay, raise your hand." And it's like, what? Oh shit, we're doing this? It was,
Don't worry about that.
It's making noises in the
for
in the thing.
Christ's sakes.
Thank you.
So you just had to walk in and
like, it's just like suddenly, just it's funny to walk into a room and immediately get told, raise your hand. Do you swear that this is, and then,
I thought it would be more like the DMV.
oh.
It sounded like you're going to a law practice or something.
You're going to you're being tested on whether you're worthy of citizenship.
Yeah, but it seems like it's a.
oh, I thought you meant you just raised your hand and they go, all right, you're a citizen, and you didn't have to take a test.
No. That's still to come. Yeah, and then she said, okay, let's just do the questions now. And once I realized that I'd got the first 3 right, I was like, okay, now the only thing here is I have to get 6 out of 6, so that means I don't have to answer 10.
All right.
So I did.
You basically have to get a D to
Yeah.
pass, 60%.
So, but the interesting thing was, the time I got cocky was when one of the questions was, name 3 of the 13 original states, colonies.
All
What are they
right.
called?
Delaware, New York, Massachusetts.
I would have said Pennsylvania.
And I think that would have been right, too.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, because I blurted out Massachusetts because I knew that was right.
Oh, yeah.
And then I thought, oh, what are the 2 most obscure ones I could mention? So I went,
He wants to impress her.
yeah. So I went with Delaware. I thought Delaware was kind of
What's the first state? So everyone
and then
knows that.
and then I just went bam, Rhode Island.
You know what's weird? No one knows Delaware now.
So
Nothing, no news story ever happens in Delaware. Delaware is the forgotten state. I've always said that. What?
yeah, only Joe Biden. If it wasn't for Joe Biden.
Yeah. I guess he is
Yeah.
Delaware. But if you asked most people where Joe Biden's from, they'd go, "Who's Joe Biden?"
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I know about Delaware is to do with incorporation.
Yeah,
Everything's incorporated.
Yeah,
there.
all your credit card spam, junk mail, actual snail junk mail is.
They're like
Delaware.
the Nassau Bahamas of America.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So what was the third one? I'm sorry, I stepped on your
Rhode
dick.
Island.
Rhode Island.
I thought that's an obscure one.
Yeah.
It's a
Did you
smaller
get extra
state.
for that? No.
No,
No.
you didn't give me better citizenship.
So you went 6 for 6.
And then before I knew
Confetti flew out of the ceiling.
And then the usual sort of again, it's one of those strange things where somebody sitting opposite you is asking you questions which in any other circumstance you would simply laugh at. And you know that's the one thing. So like literally just looking you straight in the face and going, are you a terrorist? Have you ever engaged in acts of prostitution? And you just have to go, no.
Oh, did I already talk about that on the Doug Stanhope podcast? Then let's say no.
Oh, you got me. And then it was all over.
And
I was off to Burning Man.
So you have to wait? What's the process now?
No, you get handed a bit of paper on which it says, congratulations, you appear to have passed. We're now going to go and investigate a lot of this and get back to you. No, I think the next thing is basically next thing is the football stadium with 5,000 Koreans. And you're going...
Oh, you have to do that?
You have to do that.
Oh,
the swearing in.
Yeah.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
It's like graduating high school and still having to go, shake the principal's hand and fucking hate his guts.
There's no getting around it, apparently.
I always thought that if I won the big jackpot in Vegas and then they want me to go hold the big check for promo photos, I'd go, no, fuck that. I'm not promoting this. Like, this doesn't even compensate for the 30 years I'm down, you fucking assholes. And just to be a dick, I think I would say no. And for that swearing in process, I go, yeah, I'm busy that day. Yeah. Didn't I already pass the test? I had to go fucking Heil Hitler in some German square?
Yeah. So, again, that's not really an option, though.
Do they do that like every year at one day, or do they do it once a month?
No, it's regular. And apparently...
Hold it at the farmer's market?
Yes, you have to do it.
Oh, I have to do it. Yeah.
But if you didn't, would you?
No.
Yeah, because you're not swelling with pride. No. You're happy that you passed.
I don't wish to boast, but I have 2 university degrees that I never graduated, so to speak.
Yeah. You're not that kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm not that type. I never understood.
You hate the fact that I know when your birthday is, even though I forget it, but it's written on one of my calendars.
Mm-hmm. But the point is, I don't like, again, I got a university degree and I thought, that's it. I got it. Why am I going to go to a fucking ceremony? I've got the degree now. Let's move on.
Just like a funeral. I was talking to the journalist, Sam.
Uh-huh.
A funeral. Why do you need to go to a funeral? You're not going to remember your mother and mourn for her at home. Yeah. You have to have some fucking awful, hey, this is the worst party ever. So everyone can come and not have any fun. Just so it's 9/11 as we speak.
That's right. This is 9/11.
I tweeted that picture. Joby had a brochure that he found on eBay of the World Trade Centers.
Yes.
When they were newly opened, and it says, World Trade Centers, the closest you'll ever get to heaven. Which is that irony as you walk into the room? Because I don't know what that means. I'm an American. You can talk openly. He's dazed and confused. The Sam, our journalist friend, just walked in. Whatever you're looking for, you can interrupt the podcast. Go in the fridge.
It's not good enough for the podcast. I just want to know where the water is.
I was going to ask you.
I put the water in the fridge.
Oh, you put the water in the fridge.
I was gonna ask you, because we did ambush him. Whether we use it or not, we might just redo it all. But do you take downers on the flight?
What have you got any?
Yes.
I might need them.
All right. Do you want just a regular over-the-counter sleeping pill?
That would be fine.
Derek. There, over-the-counters are on just at the front of the travel shelf. Sleep tight, sir. And use those earplugs because it'll be loud about midnight when Andy and the crew show up. So stop doing your parlor tricks. Have you met the magician in town yet?
What?
I don't know when the last time you were here. Some magician from Tucson. Anyways, I'm off topic.
Does he do close hand magic?
Yes, he does.
That's the only type I like. Well, if he's making jets disappear, I'm no interest.
No, he's working the big room at Harrah's in Bisbee.
I stayed at Harrah's in Reno.
His white tiger is. And, so where were we? You need a fucking key card.
You
guy.
were talking about funerals.
Funerals, yes. Pointless exercise.
Yeah.
At least you have some ego involved with graduating or citizenship where I guess a lot of people are really happy to come here.
Yeah.
And not that you aren't, but it's
Sure.
not like I'm glad to be an American.
But I just remember something else that we have in common, which is the buying of cars. Like, I was with two companies where I got a company car. And on both occasions, I bought them by looking at the catalogue they sent me and just said, get me that one. Like, I didn't want, like, everyone else wants to go and fucking sit in the car and things. And it's like,
You didn't do a test drive or anything?
No, I just said that
they
one.
made us do a test drive for that Mazda.
Could not progress.
I don't want the test drive. I want to just, it runs well now.
Uh-huh.
Let me test drive it in the future. If you can put me in a time machine and see what a piece of shit it is in 3 years.
in the future.
Sean Rouse, I gotta fucking call him. It's football. I haven't even talked to Rouse. Anyway, so you'll be a citizen at some point.
At some point. The only thing is, my lawyer said, but you have to take this. Like, do this immediately. Do this immediately. Don't say you're like, so, and he said it could be 1 to 3 or 4 months, which means he said basically, yes, you might have to come back from the UK to do it.
To do what?
Take the fucking,
The oath.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, then you're
Swearing
not a
in
citizen.
or whatever it is.
You can't leave me alone in the UK.
Yeah. Don't worry, I've got backup.
All right. Laura Clark?
No. She's had baby.
Oh, off the charts. I was just about to profess my love for her.
Ah.
And then she had to
I'm
squeeze
sure you
out
could, I'm sure you
Jürgen.
could, she could stick it back in. I think it's about 2 now, but.
All right. So let's get to Burning Man.
Burning Man.
Because Brian Hennigan, not a Burning Man kind of guy.
No, which everyone said, including me.
Except for when he gets into Monday Night Hennigan drunken mode, he's notorious and legendary for playing really shitty kind of, I don't know what kind of music it is, but shitty things like you might hear at Burning Man, and bouncing up and down in his seat and dancing alone in his own room while we stare through the window.
Is this the EDM music?
I like EDM.
It's the fact that Brian Hennigan doesn't hate music as much as I do.
I love EDM. Anyway, so I turned up at Burning Man not knowing anyone, I was in this camp, and of course the journey.
He went to Burning Man just to be a buzzkill, I bet. Just to shit on people.
Hey, no running.
Yes, that's not even the proper way to do it. Go ahead.
I was in this camp that I'd been introduced to by Brian Wiener, and I turn up, and Brian Wiener, your friend, isn't there. He's off doing something.
Brian Wiener is he's a pro Burning Man guy. He spends his entire year, I think he got some .com money.
Yeah.
He's Facebook rich and just spends all his time creating, which I abhor. So he's known. You're pre-camped. You showed up before it actually started.
I got there only 1 day before because of the
Wiener connection.
No, the immigration thing.
Oh,
I would have got there 5 days before if it hadn't been for that.
Because of
the Brian Wiener connection into this camp.
He's like a welder, though, right?
He runs a maker space in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
A maker, and among other things. So, but it's odd though. You turn up at a gathering of 65 people who are all camped together, and the one person you know isn't there. So you're just
I hate that's like going to a party.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to come to this party? Well, I won't know anyone. Well,
I'll be there.
Great
Come on.
people.
Exactly. That's kind of it.
Yeah,
there.
where's Wiener? Oh, he went out for ice. He'll be back in 2 days.
Yeah.
What's your name?
So I arrived late at night, and first thing I did was I went down and secured my shift pod, the little pod thing I was staying in, and I lugged it back to my camp. And it was dark by now.
So hold on a second. You get a perimeter for your camp,
Yes.
of which there are many camps.
Yes,
It's like going to a campground where this is your site.
and there's 70,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go back to my camp with the shift pod, and then I thought I'll get some stuff out of my car. And the first major thing I did at Burning Man was pull the hatchback of the car down on my forehead. And now there's a small scratch there just now.
Oh, I see
can
it.
assure you that was not a small scratch when I did it.
Head
There
wound.
was literally blood running down my face, and I just
Head
arrived.
wounds bleed.
Yeah. And I hadn't really introduced myself to many people. So for the first 2 days, I had a Popeye versus Bluto type bandage on my forehead where I was trying to go, hi, how are you?
Did you have to go to the first aid tent?
No.
The fucking thing hasn't even started. This guy's bleeding.
Yeah.
Hey, we already got a guy. What is
No.
this?
I had some, I brought along some of those disposable Clorox wipes that you use for cleaning.
Your bum hole?
The kitchen.
No, the kitchen.
Yeah, so I basically got one of them out and held it to my forehead, which kind of stung. And then once the bleeding had abated, I put on this bandage so tightly that it was like a mini stitch.
Like around your head, like a headband?
No, but like really.
Like an X?
Anyway, it worked.
Made you a Zippy the Pinhead?
So, and then the whole thing kind of kicked off for me in the sense that it was very fun from, like we went out on one of these enormous art car sound bus things that played lots of electronic dance music, and I started to take photographs, and then I started to feel happier. And the whole week just got happier and happier. I did things like, I obviously, I don't do drugs. So none of the drugs were attractive. I mean, there are drugs fucking everywhere. There's fucking anything you guys have ever talked about. They were ketamine, Quaaludes, ecstasy,
All those
MDMA.
2B, CD,
Everything.
all those.
They're all there. But I liked the music, and I drank. So I don't think I went to bed before 3 a.m. any night, and 2 nights I stayed up till 9 in the morning.
Woohoo.
So, and it was great. And I suppose what you think what's attractive. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what's misleading about Burning Man, I think, is that people have this idea that it's a hippie festival, and it's almost the opposite of a hippie festival.
Yeah, no, I thought it was, I always pictured it like, what do they call the fake bikers? They're just like corporate guys, but they like to, on the weekends, they'll put on a
right.
leather vest.
Like a weekend warrior type.
That kind of,
Yes,
yeah.
well, I think here's the thing. It's more like this. You got a city.
When you took me, we were invited to the Twitter offices.
Oh, yeah.
In San Francisco.
Yes.
And there was like a Vegas buffet
Yes.
for lunch. It was like the Caesar's Palace buffet. That's where they eat lunch. And they had a DJ at the Twitter main corporate office.
Uh-huh.
I imagine those people.
You're
that work at
entirely
Twitter.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of the people at Burning Man are from the Bay Area or Silicon Valley or whatever. And what I enjoyed about it was that you're in the middle of nowhere in an artificially created town that will arise out of nothing and disappear into nothing. And again, bear in mind, you have to take away every bit of trash you bring with you. There's nothing provided in terms of taking shit away. You're not allowed to piss where you feel like if you can't piss on the playa just because your bladder's filled. You're with people who can do all that. It's the opposite of hippies. You're with people who can set up an entire city. It's full of people who can do things. It's not full of people who
Talk about doing things.
talk about doing things or are incapable of opening a tin of soup.
This is exactly your love of Germany.
Yes.
It's very efficient. When Brian would say, should we play Germany? Oh, I love Germany. For all the same kind of, not the bad Hitler reasons, but the efficiency of Hitler, the Autobahn, and this is the way it should be. This is structurally and smart people.
Yes. So you're surrounded basically for the most part. Certainly in our camp, the camp I was in was, it was smart, clever, exciting, interesting people.
And you got that campsite because
of the Wiener.
All right,
Brian Wiener.
You can't just like order a campsite when
it's
not like picking seats on Ticketmaster.
Brian Wiener had to vouch for me, and then I had to talk to the guy who he had vouched for me to, and then I was allowed.
What was more difficult, the citizenship test or getting into Burning Man?
Well, I know
What's harder to get into, America or Burning Man?
I sweated the Burning Man more. It's like, if I don't get in this camp, I'll be out there with the animals.
There was no workbook for Burning Man.
By the way, just so you know, I mean, I did seek out Matt Kirshen, so I could, and Matt Kirshen, comedian
from the UK.
Yeah, he's a lovely man, and he was. There's no communication there, so your cell phone's not working. So you got their address, their coordinates of where they live, and you have to cycle there. And if they're not there, you just have to leave a note and then come back later, like when you were a child.
You brought your own bike.
Yeah.
So
that's the bike that Derek didn't build. Remember?
Yes, we brought it up a couple times in the podcast since.
Yeah. So, and after 2 or 3 visits to Matt Kirshen's place, I did realize that there was a form of apartheid in place. Like where I was living was nice, and where Matt Kirshen was living inside a rented Enterprise van was not so great.
But it is what you make it, though.
Yes, but his camp was very,
Spartan?
Their camp was kind of Spartan, shall we say. Here's an example of the food. Every day the food was magnificent. We got two meals a day. On the Saturday night, the camp leader said, as you know, Mr. So-and-so, who owns a chain of restaurants in Atlanta, is normally here, and he cooks on Saturday night. He can't make it, but he has sent one of his chefs. So we had steak, like perfectly cooked. I spent part of that afternoon finely chopping rosemary. Right? Okay. This was not like,
Who never does that here?
yeah. There's nobody called rosemary. Park the bus.
Hey, Doug, give him the light.
It was pretty exciting. And I like, electronic dance music, and I like being on a large open.
Do you like it at 7 a.m?
Apparently. Apparently I do. After,
But you said you weren't even drinking?
No, I was.
Oh, you were.
Yeah. Oh, this was after like more than half a bottle of handcrafted Californian vodka, which I was drinking straight because I couldn't fucking pee. So you don't want to dilute it. So,
how far away are the bathrooms? These are the questions
where are
I
the
would
bathrooms?
have.
there are porta potties around, but
How far do you have to walk to a porta potty?
Well, if
'Cause
you're-
when I quit smoking
Yes.
during that tin can rehab, I knew that I was too lazy to walk the 2 blocks to go get cigarettes, as long as I didn't have them. If I have to walk that far to piss,
But here's something practical, going back to Clorox wipes. If you once you've finished a tub of Clorox wipes, take the lid off, you can pee in it. And it's big enough it's big enough to accommodate your penis, and it is filled with bleach. So it like disinfects it, and then once you get to a porta potty, you just empty it in there.
I was as soon as you said, let's get back to Clorox wipes, I pictured your porn star bleached asshole.
Not for the first time. It was. I think it was it's very enjoyable. You, Doug Stanhope, I don't think you would enjoy it
Because the hangover.
What's that mean?
I could even drunk on drugs. I could probably even enjoy electronic dance music, but I fucking wake up.
Oh, it never stops. It's all around you constantly.
I'm a terrible. You know me in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. If I could do it only come in at night, like I do shows, and then get shuttled back to a hotel where I have a fucking decent, clean place to take a shit. It doesn't even have to be clean. It just doesn't. I can't have someone waiting outside the door.
Yeah, no, but the Ericssons will definitely love it. I think the Chailles or the Chainerts, whatever they're called.
Bingo
would love
Bingo's
it.
here. Bingo just showed up.
Bingo would love it.
Get on, sit in that seat.
Yeah, and was there anything I wanted to? Yeah, I mean,
First of all, every time I say the Wiener Connection, I want to burst into the Wiener Connection.
What's
Lovers and dreamers and me.
All
The
right.
Muppets movie.
Paul Williams.
Wiener's a weird guy.
Yes.
Again, he got a boatload of money and he
weird,
does good
interesting,
things with it.
not weird like,
Yeah.
oh, where's my
No,
daughter?
you would assume that he, like, if that was your court-appointed lawyer and you're sitting there in an orange jumpsuit and shackles and that guy comes in, you go, oh, I'm fucking, this guy's gold.
Right.
He does not seem like the Burning Man guy,
No.
nor do you.
No.
And he spends all year making this shit. But he's also a fighter. Not only do you not think he's Burning Man, but like he's like, yeah, and then I went to this place. I get into a bar fight. They're like, you get into bar fights? And he is.
You got in a fight in Burning Man.
No shit.
Yeah.
Over
about
what?
One of his friends was giving him too much shit, I believe. And
Who chopped this rosemary?
cut to me pointing.
That's someone else.
That guy there. Yeah. I'll show you a chopping.
So
So
you were there?
I
Were you
no,
sober?
no. Brian told me.
Oh.
So and apparently it was kind of public. So it
there's
wasn't a backstreet Burning Man
It
mugging.
wasn't Philo Beto. This is an unsanctioned fight.
Yeah, it was. But he admits he's got a dark side.
Yeah, well, he just split up with the Mrs. Wiener. We've always known them as a couple.
Amy Wiener? Yeah.
So, yeah, if he was like that then, well, don't get me all riled up at Burning Man.
Anyway, it was a huge blast, and it was very. I mean, obviously there were things of it that were reminiscent of the desert parties, but almost like. But the good thing, and also the fact I travel a lot in the third world. A lot of the so-called hardship isn't really hardship. It's hardship if you've not done that sort of thing before, but nah, not really.
How bad are the toilets at the end of the week?
No, well, they're fine because we had people coming around to empty them every day.
Oh, you had your own private toilets?
Yeah, we
in
had
your
two.
own...
We had two little.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
they're on there.
Did you have
Matt
like a-
Kirshen didn't have a toilet near him, I bet.
Did you have a doorman?
We
Your bag, sir?
by the way, I'm putting there are bunches of photographs going up at Facebook. Facebook.com/Hennigan. So
You get straight up Hennigan?
yeah,
Not even Brian? I think Brian Hennigan would be even
nah,
too difficult
straight
to
up,
get.
straight up Hennigan.
Straight up Hennigan.
Yep.
Not a fan of the Facebook myself. Derek is coming over. He's looking like he's going to get his drinks, but do you want? Should we break or should
no,
we?
No, I was just thinking what I was going to say, but the thing about the desert parties,
Yeah.
in contrast, was, or I think it became the issue, was their very accessibility. People were showing up you didn't want showing up.
The of the people that showed up at our own private Burning Man in Death Valley, the worst ones were. I don't know what the connection was. Of course, there's one weak link that goes, "Oh, you guys should come to this."
Yeah.
And it was, they called it the Burning Man Decompression Party.
Oh, right.
I don't remember that.
Right.
The fucking Wolfie, DJ Wolfie
Oh, really?
or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
No, I remember that guy. I don't remember
The ones that were
term.
trying to barter, they had whippets and they were like, well, if we're going to give you whippets, we want some real drugs.
Yeah.
Like, no, you have whipped cream canister shit. And everyone brought the basic supply they could smuggle in their ass.
When we get the pie cut, we'll give you a call, Wolfie, but we're not giving the PO.
And they were
out.
like in the trees. They were like
Yeah.
hammocks and trees, and they were very exclusionary.
Oh yeah, that was
You remember that?
That was the third year, I think.
No, the third year was a good year. No,
Yeah,
no,
third year was the best
Third
year.
year was my first year.
it was.
Yeah, it was second year.
Second year.
Yeah.
DJ
Yeah.
Wolfie, I remember him. He did
And
a
they did their own electronic dance music
Yeah,
that
he
no
did a
one wanted to hear.
remix. He did a remix of the Police "Message in a Bottle" that was very good.
Wow, you'd remember.
I remember.
'Cause everyone else is like, who are these people that fucking don't really socialize or communicate, and they're into their.
Yeah, I'm not demeaning your judgment of them. I'm just talking about that one particular mix. So, and some of the pictures, I mean, some of the things, the art cars that I was on, and there's something magical about going across this flat playa, which is covered with artistic structures that have been erected temporarily, in a float that is blasting out music. And the float looks like a forest of asparagus. It's magnificent. It's magnificent.
I don't doubt it for a minute.
And if you were, as you people do, tripping, I think it'd be even more magnificent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to do that for a day and then get the fuck out.
Yeah.
When I woke up going, oh, everything hurts.
You can't leave?
Shut the fuck
Well,
up.
you can leave anytime you want.
Oh, okay. So you could just helicopter you out.
Well, you can just get in your car and say, fuck it, I'm leaving.
Yeah, do the old Dave Mordahl.
Oh, yeah, the Dave Mordell.
75-mile-an-hour windstorm in Death Valley.
it!
Sand blowing, everyone making, like...
Kerchiefs and things to block goggles,
Yeah,
homemade
what do
goggles.
the Arabs wear? The
Turban.
No, it's not
Oh,
turban.
Veil?
It's just fucking terrorist wear over your face, so only your
Burqa.
eyes are showing, and then you try to
Burqa.
find goggle. Burqa kind of shit. Yeah, and Dave Mordahl, who doesn't like to socialize anyway, and we talked him into going to the thing. And I go,
He's
yeah,
sober, isn't he?
We heard if you go up into the canyon where that waterfall is, that weird waterfall, you'd be out of the wind. And he goes, you know where else is out of the wind? Caesar's Palace. Have a great time. And he drove off in a huff, came back half an hour later. I saw him. I was already tripping, and it's 11 in the morning. And I said, I knew you'd be back. He goes, no, you can't. There's zero visibility on the highway. That's the year that some Korean tourists stopped in the middle of the road and 2 motorcycles rear-ended them because it was zero visibility. So they all had to come back till the windstorm stopped.
Yeah,
Then he went to Caesar's Palace.
That zero visibility thing this year, that happened a lot.
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
The wind would kick up.
The wind would kick up and you'd be out on a bike or just walking and suddenly wouldn't be able to see fucking anything.
How long were you there, Brian?
8 days, 9 days.
Okay.
And
What about the bug infestation? That
was all overblown.
all right.
So the bug infestation died about.
I don't know if we mentioned it on the last podcast, but right before he left, the early news was there's weird biting bugs
Yeah.
that had infested. And there was a close-up picture of someone's tire where every tread was filled with these weird biting
They all
insects.
died.
That's a good move to knock down the lines getting in.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, great.
I'd do it in an RV, but
Would you do it tripping?
No.
As soon as you become a citizen, you can trip.
no, no, there's no need to go hog crazy.
So you wouldn't do the shift pod again?
No, I mean I would if I had to, but I don't have
Would
to.
you come out here and build yourself a little art
What?
car thingy?
Well, I would only if I would. I need to get somebody like Joby involved.
Someone that could do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the same way the new studio, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I built this
Yourself.
by having
Yeah,
other people build
it.
this.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean,
You could stand above them on a ladder and shout down through a bullhorn.
Uh-huh.
I think that belongs over there. And you go, oh, I built this.
I built this.
Joby, bring me my Clorox piss box.
What accent was that? Jesus Christ.
All right, let's take a break, and we got some viewer mail or some other shit. I get a box now. I have a box. We're trying to make this new studio. By the time this airs, the football helmet auction is not done yet. But even at this point on Friday before the Sunday, you guys paid for the fucking bar. And the rest of the
And the
ancillary things.
Yeah, the awning and
I'm
the painting.
sure you, my fans are fucking monsters, and people in Bisbee know I'm a comedian, and they know that I'm vaguely underground, cult-like known. But when you have an eBay auction like that, and everyone's following it, Cedric, who built the bar with Electric Dave, they gave me an estimate, and when it was being put in, the last of it a couple days ago, just the bar part. He goes, I'm pretty close on that estimate. It might be a little bit over, but it's going to be pretty close. And I went, that's good because the football helmet auction is now right around
what your
estimate was. And I assume it'll go crazy like any eBay auction at the end where last minute bidders bidding it up. I think you made me money.
By building
the new studio.
That's great.
And
because you could only build the studio by selling the helmets.
I was hoping it would offset the cost because I've done
a portion of it.
I get UK dates. I have 20 dates in the UK and Europe coming up. Amsterdam, you didn't even put that out. It was sold out. It's sold out. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
Well, yeah. You go. So that's sold out. Point is, because of that book, I will have done 30 dates total this year.
Ooh.
Normally, what I would consider a light year, the last couple of years, I was doing like 115 dates a year. This year, only 30. So to put a podcast studio together and spend that money, it's a little tight this year. And these fucking assholes that I call fans or audience members, people who enjoy what we do for a podcast with no sponsorship. Thank you very much. We'll be back in a second. Hey, I'm going to the UK and Europe. The dates are at dougstanhope.com. We're doing England, Scotland, Ireland, Denmark, Iceland, Amsterdam, Norway. I think we're even doing Sweden. Go to dougstanhope.com. But for the 5 weeks that I'm gone, there's no way I'm going to try to pack fucking podcasting equipment and trust Brian the filthy uncut Scotsman to do it. He can't beat Chaille. He will never beat Chaille. So my thought was to have Chad Shank fill in for me for 5 weeks and be my guest host of the Doug Stanhope podcast. Well, that's up to you, the listeners. If you'd like him to do that, tweet him at HDFatty, at HD as in Harley Davidson, Fatty, Fatty. And if more people want him to do this and he gets more tweets, it will affect his ego and make him smile more when he's trying to not kill people at home. All-star podcast, since you guys have bought those fucking football helmets or are buying those to pay for this. Coming soon, Andy Andrist and Christine Levine. Click.
We had that extra one. We ended up just crushing it.
I know, we just crushed it.
How do you like that chair, Brian?
I like it. I like it because I feel like I'm getting more support in my back.
Yeah, that's the problem I had with it. It feels like the upright and locked position during takeoff, where just one more inch back and you'll feel more comfortable.
I like it.
I like these for what we're doing, like the podcast. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're gonna work out some kinks, but otherwise, it's fucking fantastic. Again,
like it,
thank you.
Yeah.
To everyone who bid on football helmets. I got a couple of joke stealing things.
Oh yeah.
One was my brother called me. Like my pet peeve is people who email or tweet you. This guy stole your joke. He talked about pornography and so do you. Now that's not stealing a joke. Leave that to the professionals. But my brother was listening to Sirius XM, and some guy, he said, this guy did your gay marriage bit.
Oh.
Like word for fucking word. And it was on Sirius XM.
Uh-huh.
And I'd never heard of the guy because I'm old and I don't know.
Australian?
No, he's a New York guy, or he lives in New York.
What's his name?
I forget now.
Okay.
But I wouldn't even, if I knew, I wouldn't say it because I looked him up and then I tried to find him. Would you let me, Wiggin? and I found the bit. He had an album on iTunes, so I'm looking for the one that's got the gay marriage bit. My brother's like, yeah, the whole thing. It was if marriage didn't exist, would you invent it? Oh, baby, this shit we got between each other is so good. We got to get the government involved. We need federal oversight and legislation.
No refunds.
So strong. I think it's actually, no, it's Deadbeat Hero.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That's
You're
Deadbeat
right.
Hero.
It's black and white.
2004.
Black and white.
There's
Yeah, it's 11
bass
years
in the
ago.
background or
Yeah.
guitar in the background, right?
Henry Phillips.
So it's morning, so I want something to be angry about.
Right.
And so I actually went on, found his album on iTunes, and I'm going through the tracks, like which one would it be in.
No way.
And so I had to spend $1.98 on
To enrich this man.
two different tracks to hear just basically that one line without the federal oversight and legislation. Hey, marriage is weird to me. It's a weird concept. I love you so much. We got to get the government involved. I'm like, I'm not going to call him out for that.
I mean, I've heard Sarah Silverman just today from 2014 on Howard Stern. Howard Stern goes, now the guy you're dating, it's serious. You're going to get married. She goes, look, I don't need to get the government involved.
Right.
I mean, it's
not
one of those
it's
things.
not like, okay, you didn't steal this verbatim. I said it fucking 11 years ago, and someone probably said it before me, for all I know. But the point is, my brother only heard that was the end of the clip, so he assumed he'd stolen everything. The guy this morning, I did yesterday morning, I did a interview with this guy. Oh, some of these UK interviews, Brian, they talk so garbled, and because they're recording the conversation, there's this echo delay, and I have to constantly say, what did you say again? And at some point in the conversation, I'm likening the comedy community, because he was saying, like, well, comics, how they're spiteful. It's the strange imagination people have of comics are like fucking actors, where they're, it's not a competition. I always found the comedy community to be really kind of tight knit, and in the interview I said that it's like AA, which an analogy I make in the book about how the comedy community, like, you just show up at any comedy club in the country and you're accepted. You know people. And that's how AA was with my mother. Like, you can go to any meeting and there's welcoming people. It's such a small community of comedians.
Right.
Oh, I'm a comedian too. Oh, no shit. Where you from? And they welcome you. And he went off on this tangent about AA, the interviewer. And he goes, well, I shouldn't say, because I've never been to a meeting. I've never been to a meeting, but I find the religion in it, and this and that. And I go, when we're done this conversation, just YouTube Doug Stanhope AA, and you'll hear my entire bit about, and he goes, oh, I just realized I got my entire perception of AA from that bit. I forgot that I heard it. So yeah, shit like that happens. Maybe someone heard something, but
But what about something you've talked about before, which is the people who say something and think they're the first to say it?
Yeah, when I first started doing open mic, I was doing the most hackneyed premises, truly believing that they were my own. Who was the first person to eat an egg? They must have lost a bet. I'll bet you I'll eat the first thing that comes out of that chicken's ass. Like, thinking it was brilliant.
Or milk. Tom Green had a whole thing on that too.
Yeah, a million things.
Yeah.
The first person to ever eat. I didn't know at the time. I thought I was fucking a genius open micer. And other people who don't watch comedy agreed.
Do you think you coined creeper memories?
Yes.
Or is that because even the person doing our hair today, she was just like, when you get those creeper memories, and I was just like, you heard that bit. I know you've heard that bit. She said that just today.
It.
You don't think so?
I don't think
Creeper memories?
No,
I don't know.
Hairdressers aren't in your demographic.
Oh no, she was
Bisbee
talking
people.
about. She was talking about she had heard his stuff too, though.
I don't think that, no, I have no idea. I remember Brendan Walsh was the first guy to talk about his fat upper dick area, and then everyone was saying it afterwards. I think we coined Negroni Week. I think we're the catalyst for National Negroni Week, because I'd never heard of it in my life, and once we started drinking them on the air, all of a sudden, out of the blue, National Negroni Week. So yeah, I like to believe.
Right.
I care
Soft
to believe.
rape, that's one.
This is a variation
Soft
of
rape.
Bader-Meinhof syndrome.
Oh, hey, Smart Fuck Magazine has a drop in. Hey, let's go to our field reporter from Smart Fuck Magazine.
Yeah. Everyone look it up at home. Bader-Meinhof syndrome.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, when you're saying something that's unspellable and unpronounceable, always trail off when you say it. It's Bader-Meinhof syndrome.
It's the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy approach.
Oh, what a beautiful movie that
I
was.
just need to tell you something. Bingo, you're going to love it.
That's the entire movie of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
The entire cinema of people leaning towards the screen going, what?
What'd you say? They all talk like this. And that's, well, that was the case with such and such. You keep turning up your TV.
Yeah, you blow a speaker.
Well, this was today
Motivational
on.
speaker.
I just someone tweeted me. Oh, no, someone emailed me. Whoever you are, thank you if you're a listener. But you emailed me going, I saw this cunt bitching about this guy, the fat Jew, who's made headlines over here. If you live in other countries, he has like 5 million. Did we discuss this last time you were on? He had like 5 million Instagram followers and just basically taking credit for other people's tweet things that are funny and memes. I don't fucking get it.
Uh-huh.
But people who tweeted like a funny aside, he would steal it as though it was his own.
Correct.
And he blew up for a second as he lost his Comedy Central deal. And yeah, the comics came out against him. But this guy, there's a news story. The Fat Jew at Fat Jew. I'm not saying Fat Jew. That's his name because he's a fat Jew and he calls himself the Fat Jew, is still stealing material even after this cavalcade of negative press. He's still stealing. And this guy, I forget his name too, who's saying he stole this from me and didn't give me credit. It's a bit that I've been doing for a year and a half that I'm still doing. Generally, when people say, oh, this guy's doing your bit, well, you know what? I don't really give a fuck. It's on a CD.
Or DVD from like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's out
Word
there.
of mouth.
Yeah, if he is stealing my shit, someone will, he'll be brought down. But this is something I'm currently doing, waiting to put it on the new DVD after we get done with Europe. And it's about, you know, the chunk about, if you've seen me in the last year and a half, about parents should be responsible for their children for the rest of their lives. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the guy that's saying the Fat Jew stole it from him, they show the original tweet, which is almost verbatim of the beginning of the bit. Yeah. I don't have bits that fit into a tweet. That's one thing that has saved me from a lot of joke thievery is I have 14 and 20-minute bits.
But that's why the Fat Jew was on Instagram, because he could put up pictures of longer
entire bits.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, good thing fitting all that into a fucking Instagram picture is that just that bit alone.
No, I think
it was basically the beginning of that. How dare, my parents had me. So I tweeted at him, I went, you're yelling at the Fat Jew. I've been doing that fucking bit for a year and a half. And then he wrote back something kind of cryptic. I couldn't really get, well, now that I've done it, it's illegal to do. Oh, now that I've done a bit that several other people have done before us. Like, wait, are you saying that it's a hackneyed bit? Are you saying other people have done it before us, that it's tired, so... And then making it funny by saying now it's illegal to do since I did it. I wasn't saying you stole it from me. I'm saying I fucking do that bit in a lengthy, fleshed out form that's not a joke. It's an actual point of view that upsets me. And now you're bitching, like, I'm 1 degree of separation from being the fat Jew stealing from me. But then this guy is defending the fact that he's did it, that several people have probably done it before us. I don't know any. So you kind of, the point is, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to keep doing the bit. I'm going to put it on a goddamn album, and then I'll be done with it. And then a million years from now, when I'm one of those crusty old cunts that knows everything's been done, I'll sit around and not laugh at comedy the same way I do now. I saw so-and-so do that in 1983. That was on Rodney Dangerfield's first young comedian special.
I think the interesting thing about the fat Jewish thing for me is what it reveals. Like, the general public don't give a fuck.
This is
they don't give a fuck whether it's stolen or not.
This is what's going to happen, and I hate to even put it out there, but when it happens, I want to be able to say I said it first. Is at some point, and Carlos Mencia almost went into these waters, because when the Carlos Mencia is a thief versus Joe Rogan kerfuffle happened. It was the biggest news in comedy. Everyone's wired to it. At some point, just like sampling in rap music, a comic is going to pull a full Charlie Sheen and say, yeah, I stole it. I don't give a fuck. It's what they do in rap music. Yeah, we sample stuff. That's what we do. Get over it. And some comic that steals is going to just take that. Yeah, I steal. My audience doesn't give a fuck where it came from.
That's true.
And the audience doesn't. So they're going to go, he's right. Fuck him. You think any fan of Vanilla Ice gave a shit if he stole from David Bowie? The people that were all up in arms about that were people that like David Bowie, not people that like Vanilla Ice. So eventually some comic is, if the fat Jew went, yeah, he steals shit. Who cares? It's out there and it makes people laugh. And I have more followers than you, so I get your the jokes out there. No one, if he took that tact, no one gives a shit. And it's a matter of time before that comic exists.
Well, now you just told him.
Yeah, well, it's too late now. He already buckled under, and that's what the media wants you to do. They want to shame you because that draws a crowd. For the media. Are you?
I don't think it was a media orchestrated thing.
No, people only care because
I only knew about the fat Jew from
Patton Oswalt.
No, yeah, from tweets and stuff. I didn't know about it at all from the media.
I did, because I don't sit around and well, I do sit around on Twitter, but I do it from a very egotistical. I only look at mentions and rarely at my feed. So, yeah, I did not know about the fat Jew. And plus, with writing that book, I'm always way late on even Twitter. I'm way late, which is 20 minutes later. Too late for Twitter. Everyone's already made that joke, you fucking asshole. That's a killer when people on just your regular people have already made the joke you were about to tweet, and you see, actually, my fans have already made this joke 7 times. Did you just immediately become disinterested in this entire podcast?
No,
I'm looking at the ceiling.
I'm thinking.
All right, you have jet lag. You flew an hour and 10 minutes from LA.
It's only 55.
That time will come where that fucking guy.
Oh, I think you're right about that.
We've jokingly talked about it forever.
I know.
And it's still in play.
I know, but I think you're right about that. Again, because in effect, the way that jokes are told now, in the old days, a joke was literally a start-stop event.
Yeah.
3 men walk into a bar.
Right.
Boom. Those were all originally owned by people and then went into society, and they were neatly compartmentalizable, and therefore somebody could go away from having seen a comedian with that one thing remembered. Then comedy became more discursive, and it wasn't possible to separate. You know, there was more of a flow to it. But as with the internet and everything, it is lending itself to how to compartmentalize again these more discursive monologues. So yes, it's already happened, and therefore it will happen again. All those classic jokes were originally one person's joke.
But the beautiful defense that comics have built about public shaming for stealing, eventually that wall will fall the same way that sampling in music has. No one ever goes, that's a fucking Gladys Knight and the Pips riff from 1968. Golden oldies.
But I mean, you can say that, but there's no recourse. It really doesn't even matter.
What I'm saying, the fact that comics have fallen into that mold of we don't want to be shamed by our peers.
Yeah,
sure, but that's
the first one that says, I don't give a fuck. I'm stealing jokes.
But this could be again, just to go with your the setup you're giving of making missing its power. It's the same as what happened with rap or hip hop or whatever. All of those things eventually were, found legal remedy. Those people had to pay for what they did.
Ray Parker Jr. and Huey Lewis.
And comics don't have that. That's why comics rely on shaming as...
But that...
self-policing.
Right.
That, again...
There would be, if I went out, this idea that I've had for a million years, just because comics do get too cunty about, the whole thing South Park did about Carlos Mencia, and they did the Fish Sticks episode. And I've always thought about just putting out an album.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say it.
All right.
Don't say it. It's so good.
Forget it.
Don't say it.
You can go back. You can go back. I can take that part out. You can go back and go, I've had an idea about an album. But you shouldn't give the idea.
All right.
It's too good.
I mean, we're not doing it for you. Hennigan and I have talked about shopping it to some other comics, so you just, we really don't want you to fuck this up.
Bet Erickson's kind of
All right. We'll just leave that all in, and I'll just shut up. Gonna show all.
I'll bleep what. Oh yeah.
That'd be very.
Yeah, a long one.
And now we'll leave this in, but we'll put the bleeps over that.
Yes.
All right. Yes.
That was a good decision to bleep all that.
I'm never going to get around to it. That's the problem.
Oh,
Yes, you will.
you'll be getting around to it.
Oh, yeah.
You're never going to get around to writing a book.
Yeah.
True enough.
True that.
You were never going back to the UK.
You were mentioning hip hop, I believe. True
All right. Yeah. Let me mention some people that sent some stuff.
Hold on. By the way, that Vanilla Ice song, that wasn't just David Bowie. That was Queen and David Bowie.
Yeah. But no one cared about Queen. They just said,
are
"Hey,
you fucking kidding
David
me?"
Bowie.
Oh.
Let's
It was,
start.
if anything, it was more.
Get behind me on this.
It was more Queen, really.
That's a Scottish band.
No, they're not.
What
They're all English.
Come on.
All right. One of them's a dentist.
Everyone from Queen was Scottish except for Freddie Mercury.
No, no.
Absolutely.
No, they're all English apart from Freddie Mercury.
No, Brian May.
He's not fucking Scottish.
He's a fucking Glaswegian.
Is he? Fuck.
Till he was 3.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
All right. I'm making up a lot of shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good, Doug.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna save because we're gonna podcast with the Andy Andrus crowd, Christine Levine tomorrow. So I'll, the guy that sent the bottle, save that for the next podcast.
Okay,
because we'll do shots of that. I want to try that. It looks
that would be
mysteriously spoiled.
Unfiltered is how they sell it in the craft brew.
But yeah, this actually has filtered on the
Toxic.
label. Someone sent a stolen Bible, and we get a few of these here and again. But this guy, his name is Bill. He sent a letter from this was stolen from the Holly Motel in, is it Olympia? Olympia, Washington, room 24. And it was, something that was special to him because a friend of theirs, some old homeless dude that had lived in that hotel. He's homeless. I know. I saw the problem there.
I'm seeing
too.
some holes in the story.
He lived there for 8 years. He was homeless. He describes him, but he lived in this. They show a picture. That's every motel you want to stay in.
He was homeless, but not motel-less.
Yeah. Holly Motel daily and weekly rates. So this guy lived there for 8 years, and he was some old kind of hobo guy, and he was dying of cancer. So they were taking his shit out of the hotel because he had to move into a hospital to die.
Yeah.
And he snagged the Bible. He says, some of this was self-serving as it gave me the right to point out how religious people were full of shit with their giant expensive churches that are empty most of the time instead of opening them up to the helpless, homeless, and needy. Don't get me started. Anyway, it had some special meaning, so that was a nice stolen Bible that we got.
Is that for us to sell when you go on a domestic tour?
You know what I was thinking, and I don't want to get fucking greedy after this helmet sale where everyone went batshit, but on the UK tour, we're not selling merchandise in the UK because it's a pain in the ass. Just getting stuff in, and the venues are too big, and they want to cut. It's a pain in the ass. But we have posters that you will be selling on the website that you are now doing,
and T-shirts.
That's why, Brian. Did you know that we're playing Dublin and Reykjavik in the same night? That's what happens when Chaille's in charge of the website. It gets updated, but it gets updated wrong.
We had an idea of how we could.
The good thing is, I've checked the flights. It is possible.
We were thinking of a way to really maximize the profits while on tour. Now, if we had 2 Doug Stanhopes,
That was my idea.
I could get the
That
fat
was my-
Jew.
That was my idea.
The fat Jew will do Dublin.
No, I said we should franchise Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
And have a Doug Stanhope for every state.
My God, if we could have a look-alike contest, someone would have to drink their head this swollen and bloated for 35 years just trying to win. That's the guy with the bottle. Because I want to do shots of that when the comics are here, Andy and Mamu.
All right, we'll do that tomorrow.
We'll save that for tomorrow. Oh, someone sent bingo.
Yeah.
This is when you guys all left me at once.
Yeah.
Even neighbor Dave and Floyd went out of town. Joby left town. Chaille's left town. Bingo went to France, which was great because it was right in the book. Even fucking Reverend Derek left. I didn't even have my house monster. And so I talked about that. And this guy, William Burke, thank you very much. He said, I heard the podcast where you were ruthlessly abandoned by your merry band of misfits, so I took it upon myself to make you some replacements, so that when your friends are gone, they won't be all the way gone. And he made popsicle stick people with pipe cleaners and funny eyes.
I've got boobies.
Bingo is the only one that I could pick out because it has blue
That's
hair.
Brian.
And
How's that me?
because you're the filthy uncut Scotsman.
It's got the big wiener.
You know, that does look uncut. Out of a pipe cleaner, that's some talent. That is some
Can't
talent.
circumcise a pipe cleaner. And then you picked out one more. Oh, Chaille, because it has a bow tie.
That's Chaille, for sure.
And the other two, I don't know. One of them's black.
Chad
These look
Shank.
like what would be
Why
described
was that
as
Chad Shank? He's
I don't know.
these look like what would be described as items found near the victim.
This is what is described at things that we will re-gift in merchandise. So don't be surprised when any of these fan letters show up, as well as Bisbee Observers. I found all old Bisbee Observers that Chad Shank has read, and instead of throwing them away, I give them to Chaille so he
Signed,
can
of course.
randomly stuff them into merchandise.
Oh.
So if you want to order a UK tour poster, you're not going to get it in the UK. You got to order it here, and then shipping's way too much, and that's just fucking yell at your post office. It's not our fault.
It's
It
not
costs
that bad.
fucking-
And we do have T-shirts. We're gonna have T-shirts as well. And the first round should be shipping right before you go to
Where's that email? I don't even need it. Some guy sent an email with possible titles for. I don't need it because the one that I forwarded it to you for. He had a lot of funny stuff in that email.
Names for the podcast.
Names for the podcast on the 100th episode. And one of them was the Plastic Jug Podcast. I really liked that.
That's good.
Yeah, it was good. He had other funny ones, but I don't know where the fuck I put it.
But podcast is still in there. I thought you wanted to get away from podcast.
I know. I'm just giving the guy credit for plastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, his first idea was Plastic Jug Vodcast for vodka. And he goes, but if that's too clever, Plastic Jug Podcast, which is my thinking as I read it. Thank you for all the shit you sent and making this new studio happen. I love doing this here. We built a bar. We're sitting at a bar. It feels like you're sitting at a bar. Brian's not paying attention to you.
As you can tell, during the podcast, my mic boom failed. So I need to figure out some way to get these mics secured.
Well, mine works.
Yeah, yours is working, but not well.
You know what? Maybe this is like the Patriots. This is Foxborough. And we're killing your headset so you don't get to talk.
Oh, okay.
All right. A couple of football fans will get that. It happened again in the game last night, evidently.
I saw something about that.
ESPN put out this whole 10,000 word expose. Did you read that, Hennigan?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Are you just trying to find your phone in your head? Is that all you're doing?
No.
Hey, dude, it's Burning Man. You can leave anytime you want.
Anyway, yeah,
Isn't that Hotel California?
That's where you can't leave.
Oh.
You can check out, but you can't leave.
wow, good thing that wasn't on the test. If we had a fucking citizenship test, yeah, what can you do and not do at the Hotel California would be in the easiest.
Can you check out anytime you want, or can you?
No, I like Doug's wording because it made you have to know
That's
the
what I
answer. Yeah. You can check out anytime you like. You can never leave.
All right. You're standing on a corner when a girl comes to in a pickup truck. What city are you in?
I don't know.
Winslow, Arizona.
What's that?
The Eagles. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
That was one.
Such a fine
I was once
sight
driving
to see.
from Phoenix down to here. It must have been after some.
What kind of car?
Sorry, I was in a story there.
What make of the car was the girl driving in Winslow, Arizona? This is the only way you can
Given
make
that I
up.
didn't know the first one, it's highly unlikely
Yeah.
I'll know the second.
That's
Go
right.
ahead. You're driving from Phoenix.
Yeah. To here, and you know they have these battle. You have these things, the battle of the band, and they put one band against another, and it was the Eagles versus Pink Floyd, and it was like, are you fucking shitting me? The idea that the Eagles would even be in the same room as Pink Floyd is disgusting.
You know what?
How dare you?
I dare, backseat commentator.
Well, the history of the Eagles Part 1. Did you see that documentary? It's a fucking good documentary.
Remember, Joe Walsh was in the Eagles.
Oh, shush. I know
Eventually-
Suzanne Walsh's sister, and she ain't no fucking eagle.
No, she's not. She's the sister of an eagle. Former eagle.
Good documentary. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be a podcast when we're bored. Good Netflix documentaries. As soon as Chaille fixed my Netflix, because I tweeted briefly and then took it down. Hey, I only get 2 shows on Netflix. One is, and as a picture of the Netflix screen. And then the second picture is, cannot connect to Netflix. Try again. Because that's all I got for 2 weeks. And then Chaille came over and showed me that my router was unplugged.
Bingo, Jesus.
So yeah, we'll do. One day we'll do
You unplugged your router.
I don't know, the cat, not the dead cat either. The fucking cat that should have died. All right, that's a podcast, I guess.
Podcast.
That's what you want to call it.
Hey, this is another track from Mishka Shubaly's new album, Coward's Path. Frankenstein Heart. Thanks for listening.
If my heart was a horse, they would shoot it. And not just because my bloodstream's polluted. This red ripped and it's raw. It's shriveled with black magic like the moth's paw. With my black cursed heart, I'll try to curse your heart too. May you never be happy like I was with you. Well, it's so hard of mine. It's a fucking Frankenstein. It's a monster. It's a sin against God. Well, it's disgusting. It's deformed. It's just barely alive. But it's alive. And it ain't ever gonna die. Well, it's so